Good afternoon, professors, staff, administrators, friends, guests, parents, and batchmates. The very first book my mom ever read to me was entitled The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, which was about a tree and a boy who grew up together. When the boy was young, he used to pluck leaves from the tree and stitch them into crowns, pretending to be king of the jungle while eating its apples. The tree was happy, but they both grew and the boy eventually left. Years passed and the boy finally returned. The tree told him to come and play, but by then, the boy was already a man and just needed a house and some money. The tree said, "I don't have any money, but come, take my apples so that you may sell them in the city." And so the boy did, and the tree was happy. And as for the house, he told the boy to cut her branches off so he could build a roof over his head. And so the boy did, and the tree was happy. It took the boy half a lifetime to come back, and by then, the boy was just old and tired and just wanted a boat that would take him far away. So the tree told him to cut her trunk down so he could build a boat. And so the boy did. And the tree was sad to see him leave, but she was still happy. I grew up with this story in my head, and for the longest time I thought it was about a boy who was never satisfied. But it was only recently that I realized that the moral of the story wasn't about selfishness, but about selflessness. It wasn't at all about the boy, it was about the tree. It was about growth and about giving. My fellow graduates, like how all trees began, we were planted in this university. We started as seedlings, shy little freshmen, afraid of speaking up in class, but secretly brimming with questions like, ano yung blue book? Toki ba o ikot? Sino si Prof. TBA sa CRS? But slowly we took root in this university. We learned the unknowable profs and the terrors that would teach us the best lessons. We learned how to period for classes. Our language slowly evolved from kamusta to ano na te. And naturally, as mass comm students, we learned how to use the words hegemony, kebs, semiotics, chaka, and hypodermic needle theory in one sentence. As we were exposed to different realities that plagued our country, we started to speak up and learn to understand people from all walks of life. We became experts in balancing extracurricular activities with academics, with some of us majoring in orgs. And after all the sleepless nights, finishing schoolwork in our college, UP became home, literally, whether we like it or not. Yes, there were frustrations over cram 12, which were still rendering 5 minutes before the deadline. There were 100-page articles that we needed to read overnight, which only ended up stained with coffee, our tears, or gruel. There were sleepless sleepovers and revision after revision. And for my fellow film students, there were 29-hour shoots without sleep and bathing. But when we realized this undeniable fact, like the tree, we grew. And we learned in the truest way possible that there is growth in every struggle. And now, my fellow graduates, I share with you this great joy and fulfillment in knowing that we have overcome part of that struggle. Congratulations. But remember that the struggle continues outside the confines of this university. It continues in the struggle against the killing of journalists, against hegemony, unemployment, poverty, censorship, against gender, racial, and religious discrimination, against all forms of violences, injustices, and oppression, and the struggle against the violation of rights we were promised as Filipinos and human beings, etc., etc. The list goes on. But you know what? It is true that the greatest lessons are acquired in the midst of difficulties and in the midst of the awareness of these struggles. Because the most valuable lesson that I learned in UP, and I hope you too, my fellow graduates, and will retain after our graduation is this: the ability to think, to doubt, to ask questions. Why am I here? Why is this happening? CMC taught us to see beyond what is within our fields of vision. And once our eyes were open to these realities and what exists beyond the confines of this university, it was difficult to stop asking these questions. Where are we now? Where are we going? And perhaps the most relevant question that we all face now is this: What does it truly mean to graduate as an scholar ng bayan? Is it about having the courage to go out on the streets and to demand for justice? Is it about the grades we got? Is it about academic freedom and the liberty to speak our minds? It's impossible to say that we formulated an encompassing definition during our 4 to 6 years in this institution. The definition of an scholar ng bayan should be fulfilled and justified even more so when we step out of this university. Honor and excellence are only the first part of the equation. The second is character, and the third, purpose. What will we do once we march out of this university? Who will we allow ourselves to become? Will we become the boy or the tree? On this soil we are rooted. This is where we have grown. But it's finally time to let our branches extend beyond UP. And it is my deepest hope that we become just like the giving tree. I read somewhere that your calling lies in the intersection of what the world needs and what you love doing. And whatever course you've accomplished, I sincerely hope that your heart is in it. And if it is not, have the courage to go after your passion. Never settle. Because one of the things I've learned from shifting from one course to another is that there are no substitutes for dreams. And whatever dream that may be, make it mean something to others. As future or current media practitioners, write or shoot the Filipino experience. No act is too small because every seed grows where it is planted. So go, contribute to the world through what you have and what you can do in the best way that you know how. Let's face it, we can't all be trees in the forest. Some of us have to be paper, furniture, apples, foundations, or maybe become seeds again. So I pose this question once again. What does it mean to become an scholar ng bayan? It's different for each one of us. But let this be our common denominator. Our desire and ability to share the fruits of our dreams as selflessly as the way the tree exhausted itself for others. Let me conclude with an expression of gratitude for all the people who have helped us grow into the trees that we are now. To the CMC staff and administration, thank you for maintaining our college. To our graduation committee and the CMC Student Council, thank you for your hard work, dedication, and service. To the people who've come and go, thank you for passing by. To our respective crews and organizations, thank you for helping us complete our thesis. Thank you for being our second homes. To my UP Cinema and Tinig ng Plaridel family, thank you for showing me where I belong. To our friends, thank you for the support and the battle scars you've shared. And as Taylor Swift once said, this is the worthwhile fight. To our mentors, teachers, and thesis advisors, thank you for the knowledge you've imparted to us. Thank you for the answers to our questions, but more importantly, the questions you made us ask ourselves. One of the most memorable lessons I learned in film school came from Professor Emeritus Nicanor Tiongson, who once explained in our film theory class that when you come out of the cinema, you must have, at the very least, learned a little bit more about what it means to be human. Thank you, UP, for being the cinema we watched and played a part in. To our parents for being our very own trees, and for all the sacrifices and headaches we've put you through. Thank you for letting us grow. To my mom and dad, my first and greatest teachers, thank you for teaching me how to dream, and for always being there, especially in college. From the time I came running out of Palma Hall, crying because I thought I failed the UPCAP, to the 3 hours spent printing and binding my thesis. This is for you. And finally, to whatever higher power you believe in up there, our sincerest thank yous. None of this would have been possible without you. The giving tree ends with the boy's return. Old and tired, the boy returns, and the tree tells him, "Boy, I may have nothing left to give you." But the boy tells the tree, "I simply want to rest." And the tree, ever so giving, offers what's left of herself, a stump. And the boy sits on the stump. And guess what? The tree was happy. Fellow graduates, as we reflect on the hardships and victories we underwent during our stay in UP, I hope that you realize and bring to life the most important lesson of the giving tree. That the tree grew in order to give more. It grew and became more than a tree. It became a house, a boat, a companion, a home. Let us never stop growing so we will never stop giving, and vice versa. Our college is called the College of Mass Communication, meaning it is now our job to reach out to the people through what we produce, whether in words, in pictures, or in moving images. Again, congratulations, CMC 2015 graduates. It is my deepest hope that, like the tree, we become selfless enough to give as much of ourselves away. Because happiness and fulfillment do not come from being complete. They come from knowing that you have helped make others whole. Thank you and congratulations.